Okay, let's jump right in. Picture this. You're looking through a window and it's totally dark outside. But somehow you can see an intruder's face with the clarity of a black and white photo. I mean, how is that even possible? Or what about this? Imagine a perimeter guard that's just an invisible pencil-thin beam of light. A totally silent sentry that warns you the second anything, a single leaf, a footstep, breaks its path. This isn't sci-fi. What we're talking about here are the real-world capabilities of specialized infrared and electronic surveillance. These tools give armed forces what you can only really call surgical vision. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how these incredible technologies actually work. So we'll start off by comparing IR to radar. Then we'll dive into the magic of short-wave infrared. After that, we'll look at some specific targeting tools, see how surveillance takes to the sky, and then we'll wrap it all up with the key things you need to remember.
All right, first up, why would armed forces choose infrared systems over something like traditional radar? Well, the answer comes down to some really clear tactical advantages.
When you boil it down, the difference is all about practicality and performance. IR systems are just smaller, they're lighter, and they're way less complex than radar systems. Plus, they're more rugged, they give you better resolution, and they don't have that annoying side lobe interference that can really mess with radar. But believe it or not, that's not even their biggest plus. And this right here is the real game changer, the passive nature of IR. See, radar has to shout its presence by broadcasting a signal, but many IR systems, they're completely silent. They just see. And that makes them incredibly hard for an enemy to even know is there, let alone try to counter. It's basically the ultimate stealth vision. But of course, no technology is perfect. The main drawback for infrared is that, just like most optical tools, its performance can really take a hit in bad weather. We're talking heavy rain, snow, or super thick fog. Okay, now let's build on that foundation. We're going to zoom in on a really powerful slice of infrared tech called shortwave IR, or SWIR for short, which has some capabilities that are, well, they're truly unique. So what exactly is SWIR? Well, technically, it's just the part of the infrared spectrum that covers wavelengths from 1.4 to 3 microns. The key thing is it's completely invisible to our eyes, but it lets special sensors see the world in, well, a whole new light. And get this, here's one of its most incredible features. SWIR sensors don't need any artificial light source. They are so sensitive, they can use this natural phenomenon called night sky radiance, and that provides a staggering 700% more illumination than starlight alone. What that means is you get crystal clear vision even on a moonless night. Here's another really crucial point. SWIR works by seeing reflected energy, which is pretty much how our own eyes work. Now that's totally different from thermal imaging, which only sees radiated heat. And because it sees reflections, SWIR gives you that high contrast detail you need for actual identification, like recognizing a specific face or reading the letters on a vehicle. And that brings us right back to that question from the beginning. See, a thermal imager is stopped cold by glass. It would just see the heat of the window itself. But a SWIR camera, it sees right through it. It also sees through haze and smoke, which makes it absolutely essential for any kind of urban surveillance. Okay, so let's shift gears and look at some of the actual tools that use these technologies for targeting and for detection. We're going to cover both the passive systems and the active ones. First, we have thermal pointers. These are passive devices, which means they don't send out any signal at all. They work by simply measuring the tiny temperature difference between an object, like a person's body heat, and everything around it. This makes them amazing at spotting hidden people through stuff like leaves, camo, and even mist. Now let's look at an active system, laser detection. The way it works is actually pretty straightforward. First, a generator sends out a super thin pulse of laser light. That pulse hits something and bounces back to a receiver. Then that really weak reflection gets boosted by an amplifier, and once it's detected, boom, an alarm goes off. It's simple and it's highly effective. So what does that look like in the real world? Well, think of a pocket-sized alarm that uses a tiny gallium arsenide transmitter. It can create that invisible tripwire we were talking about earlier. If anything at all breaks that beam, an alarm is triggered, and it can use light, sound, or even both. So far, pretty much everything we've talked about has been on the ground. But to really get the full picture, surveillance has to take to the sky. So let's look at the aerial and electronic platforms that really extend this vision across the entire battlefield.
For those deep penetration missions or low-level recon, the armed forces rely on a whole range of platforms. You got modern helicopters, tethered platforms that can stay up in the air for a really long time, and of course the ones we hear about all the time now, drones and UAVs.
And for the ultimate high ground advantage, we have to look to space. Satellite-based surveillance gets around all of those ground-level problems by using incredibly powerful telescopes and remote thermal imaging to keep an eye on targets right from orbit. All right, that was a whole lot of information, so let's do a quick 1-minute recap of the most important ideas we've covered in this explainer. Okay, so we learned that IR is usually preferred over radar because it's smaller, it's passive, and it's much harder to counter. We explored how SWIR technology uses that night sky radiance to see through obstacles like glass and fog. We saw that thermal pointers can find hidden targets just by detecting temperature differences, while laser detection creates that invisible tripwire with a reflected beam. And finally, we saw how helicopters, drones, and satellites give you that continuous watch from way up high. I'm going to leave you with one last question to think about, and it really gets to the heart of what makes this tech so powerful. Why is seeing reflected energy with SWIR so much more useful for identifying a target than just seeing radiated heat with a thermal imager? It really is the difference between simply knowing something is there and truly knowing what it is you're looking at.